Hey folks, Alan from mindvisionmedia.net, and today's WordPress responsive theme video tutorial will be showing you how to go from this, which is the default responsive theme homepage layout, to this. Okay, we're going to add a custom Google search to the top of the homepage. We're going to modify this content area here. You can't tell from looking at it, but there are two separate div columns here dividing this content, main content and the featured content. And we're going to modify this section here and put in a single featured slider. And also we're going to add a additional widget called a Colophon widget down below the default homepage widgets 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to add a widget down here. We're going to modify this content here, and we're going to add a Google search here, just like this. We got Google search here, we got a featured slider here. I kept the call to action button, and underneath the default home widgets 1, 2, and 3 we have a Colophon widget right here, which is above the footer but below the default widgets. Okay, so that's what we're going to do today, and let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and jump into my dashboard for WordPress responsive theme, and let's see, let's get the easy stuff out of the way. So let's go to Appearance and Widgets, and you should be familiar with the widget area. It has all the widgets that come with your theme and the ones you install as well. On the right we have all our widgets listed, and we're going to go to this bottom one here called Top Widget. Okay, now as you know from previous tutorials, if nothing is in a widget, nothing shows up. And if you'll notice here, it says area 11 sidebar-top.php. okay, so that's a reference to what area this is on the responsive theme, and also the file that you would need to edit if you wanted to modify this top widget and its properties. Okay, so let's start by dragging a arbitrary text or HTML widget inside the top widget. Okay, and we need to add something in there. So I just happen to have some materials ready for this tutorial, and what I have here is my Google custom search code that I got from Google. If you're not currently participating in Google's webmaster tools, Google AdSense, Google Analytics, you definitely want to start doing that. But I've pasted my Google custom search code inside of the text widget. I'm going to save that, close it. Now remember, I'm working inside the top widget, area 11. By the way, I just created a area map guide that will help you. It's a reference that shows where all the areas are that are referenced in this theme. Alright, so we're going to go to our website and refresh, and there you have it. We have a Google search here now. Oh, but the background is not matching up, so let's go back to the widget area, and I just happen to know that the background color is a specific code. So here you see background color, and FFF actually stands for white. So we're going to change that and save it. Close that up. Again, that's the top widget showing up in this area here, and we're going to refresh, and there you have it, matching background. So now it looks pretty nice. So I just added a custom Google search to the home page, and this is sharing this header space with the header logo or header image. Again, just like here, there is a column division here that allows the top widget to have the right portion and the logo or header image to have the left portion. Alright, so let's go in now and get the rest of the easy stuff out of the way. I'm going to add a Colophon widget down below here. Okay, so we're going to go back to our dashboard and let's do a Colophon widget here. Again, I'm over in the right panel on the widget page. I'm going to open up the Colophon widget. Nothing's in there. And this time I'm going to drag in a Black Studio Tiny MCE widget inside the Colophon widget. Now, if you watched any of my previous tutorials, you know a little bit about this particular plugin widget. It gives you a ton of options. So I'm going to go ahead and start with adding a small image. And I'm going to grab some dummy text here, some lorem ipsum dummy text. Copy that, Command C, Control C. I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. Command V or Control V. I'm going to edit this image really quick. I'm going to align it left. I'm going to remove the link and update it. Now the text wraps around there. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Close that up, and again we're working inside the Colophon widget, which is area 10, and close that up. Now let's go back to our website and refresh, and as you can see now below the default widgets 1, 2, and 3 we have another widget, and this is where the Colophon widget shows up on your home page. And as you can see, I have the image and the text that I pasted in there. So this is actually above the footer, which is down here, and below the default home widgets. Okay, so it's a way to add additional content on your home page at the bottom. You can use this to put a banner ad or anything really. Using the Black Studio Tiny MCE widget. Alright, so we've added a Colophon widget at the bottom, area 10, and we've added a custom Google search to the top of the page, and that is area 11. Alright, so let's see. Let's go ahead and get to the hard stuff now. We want to modify this main content area here. And here's where we're going to get into a little bit of PHP. Now, the first thing we want to do, I'm going to go back to my dashboard. And by the way, I'm jumping back and forth between tabs here. And let me just show you that trick in case you haven't watched any of my previous tutorials. Hold your mouse over your dashboard where it has the name of your website. Hold down the Control key and left click, and it opens up a new tab with your site in it. And I use this technique just to edit in this tab here, and when I want to see my changes I just click over and refresh, and that way I don't have to keep working inside of one tab and going back and forth or reloading my widget page or what have you. Alright, so let's go to Appearance Editor. Now, just so you know, the code might look a little different, but don't worry about that. I am currently using my local installation of WordPress, which is residing on my computer, not on the internet, not on the server, not at my host. It's actually installed on my computer. Now I have a tutorial that's being edited right now showing you how to install instant WordPress and get it set up and running. This is your own copy of WordPress basically, and you can practice, you can install plugins, you can do everything you can do with the live version on the internet that you've installed with your web host or inside your web server, but it's not live. Okay, so this is a great way to practice and learn WordPress and try out new things before you go live and edit your real website. Alright, so if the code looks a little different, don't worry about it. I just wanted to explain that. Now, we're inside the theme editor, and in here we have all of the pages associated with the theme. Okay, the style sheet CSS, which is the main function sheet for the theme. It contains all the styles and font sizes and etc. You definitely want to utilize a child theme if you're going to be editing the CSS sheet, and there's good reason for that. I do have a tutorial for that coming out as well, but you can Google or YouTube child themes and you can find out all about child themes. But basically it's a copy of your master files, so you don't mess up anything in case you have to update or upgrade your theme. Alright, so in this case what we're going to be doing is working in the, for you folks at home, it will be the home page, home PHP file. Okay, home PHP file. Okay. Let me just put that up here. You want to edit the home.php file. Okay. The home.php file. And the reason I'm saying this and making sure you understand which file I'm working in is because in the local installation the file is named slightly different, okay, that I'm going to be working with, but the application and the technique I'm going to show you will work exactly the way it does here on your installation if you're editing the home PHP file. Alright, so open up your home PHP file. Okay, do not pay attention to this. This is for my local installation. Yours should say home.php. Okay, I won't mention that again. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to scroll down. It's not a very large file. We're going to scroll down until we see where it says, and if you look at the contents here, it's really kind of simple. There's a couple of columns here. That's the main column. It's 940 pixels wide. That's from here all the way over to here. Okay, and then there's the columns that I was telling you about, and here it is, 460 pixels wide, and it contains the title, the subtitle, and the home content. Okay, so this is 460 pixels wide, title, subtitle, home content, and it also has the call to action button there, which is right here, CTA button and call to action. Okay, and there's the link. Alright, and then if you notice there's another 460 pixel column here, and that contains the featured content. Alright, and the featured image. Alright, so this is a 460 pixel column here that contains this, the content that you see right here. So it's two columns sharing the same space. Now what we're going to do is modify that. So we're going to go right to the end of the call to action. Look for this key right here, call to action. There's a div, and it's the end of the call to action. Okay, that's your first reference I want you to find. Okay, end of call to action. Okay, we're going to take it slow, and then there's a little bit of stuff right underneath that. Okay, and then there's the end of that column, that section right there. Okay, and then now it says div featured image. So this is where the div featured image starts. We're going to select right here and copy just up to here, end of featured content. Okay, now you may have more code or less code depending on what you have in your responsive theme already. In this case, this is a pretty clean installation, so it's very little code right here, but you might have a whole bunch of code that you need to select until you get to right above end of featured image. Do not copy end of featured image. You want to stop right above that. Copy everything down from where the div for the featured image begins, okay, which is at the end of the first column, which contains the call to action button. You'll see it because it's right under, very close behind the end of call to action area. Okay, so it should be 1 or 2 lines right below that is the end of that main content section. You want to copy the next div in line, which is the featured image div, okay, and only go up to the end of the content. Do not copy the actual end of the div. Okay, so we're going to press Control X or Command X, and now we're going to scroll up, and here's where you got to kind of pay attention. Now forget about the stuff that's in your clipboard right now. Now we want to focus our attention here where this div for the featured title and subtitle and home content starts. We're going to select this div, which is right under your container called featured, which is 940 pixels. Okay, right under that is where the 460 pixel wide column starts for your title and subtitle and home content. Okay, this stuff here. Okay, so we're going to select that div, and the home content, featured title here, the subtitle and home content, all the way to the end of this P tag. Okay, do not copy the next line, which is CTA button and call to action. That's all the call to action stuff. For this example, I'm keeping the call to action button, so only select from where the div starts, 460, to the end of the content area, home content area, which is ended by a closing P tag. Okay, so the end of that, we got the home content, we got the featured subtitle here, and we got the title, and we got the div. Alright, now that you got that highlighted, you want to press Control V as in Victor, or Command V as in Victor. And now what we just did is replaced that code we had highlighted with the code that we took from the bottom down here. Okay, I'm going to update that file and go to our website and check out what's going on. We'll refresh, and there you have it. Okay, so what we've done is eliminated the text, the title, the subtitle, and the content, the text area. We kept the call to action button, and I kept the featured content area. Okay, but it's off to the left and just looks funny. So let's fix that real easy. Right underneath your div for featured content, which is 940 pixels wide, starts the div for the featured image, which is 460 pixels wide. This is the stuff we just pasted in. You want to click here and edit that width right there to 940, the same as the container for the page. Okay, and we also want to scroll down and look for the end of the column. Again, here's your reference point. Look for the end of call to action, and 1 or 2 lines under that will be the end of the div for that column, and it also has the width of 460 in it. We need to change that. Alright, so now that we've changed the column width, both for the closing div and the start of the div, made them equal to the width of the container. Let's update that file and go to our web page and refresh, and there you go. Now we got that nice and centered. That looks pretty good, but I want to change this content. Okay, so let's go to our dashboard, and if you've watched any of my previous tutorials, you know about a plugin called Meteor Slides. I recommend this plugin. It's great for your slideshows and image galleries and stuff because it is responsive. A lot of plugins, you have to watch it for which plugins you use for your images, because a lot of them are not responsive. So if your site is being viewed on a smartphone or a tablet, your gallery will look kind of large. It'll be outside its boundaries. So make sure you use a plugin for your images that is responsive, and I happen to like Meteor Slides. So I just happen to have, this tutorial is not about Meteor Slides, so I won't go too far into it, but I just happen to have a slideshow with 2 images in it. I've already set the dimensions and the settings for it, and let me go ahead and change that. I've got a height and a width set. I have the width set to 840, which is slightly smaller than the width of the page, and transition style, speed, etc. All that stuff is already set. And what I'm going to do is, let's see, just verify that they're okay. Both images are linked. So now what I'm going to do is go back to settings, and if you see right here, I'm just going to cheat just for time saving purposes. They have a short code right here. Okay, really easy. I'm just going to copy that short code for my media slide, and I'm going to go to Appearance and Theme Options, and I'm going to go to Home Page. And now remember, we've been working in the featured content section of the home.php file, and right now it's showing the default image for the theme. Okay. Now normally your version, if you're using a live web version of WordPress and editing this responsive theme live, you won't see an image link for that featured image. This is by default. Okay, but since I'm using a local installation, I have to tell it to show that image. So disregard this code you see here. All we want to do, basically, I'll just get rid of that, and I'm just going to paste in that short code right there in the featured content area. Okay, save that. Now remember, back in the editor, we edited the featured content area. Okay, and we have the featured content, which can be images, text, video, whatever, and left the call to action button. Alright, so let's go back and refresh and see if my slideshow shows up. Oh, and there you have it. So now I have a full, almost full width featured slider on the home page. Now there is a slight issue here. I'd like to see a gap between the two, and also try to center this slideshow. So I'm running out of time, but let's see what we can do about that. This probably won't work. I'm probably going to have to go in and edit some PHP or CSS. Oh, there you have it. It did work. Okay, so let's see if we can fix the gap here. So all I did was put a div on the home page element in the featured content area. Was I put a div align center and a closing div around the slideshow, saved it, and what that did was center the whole slideshow. Okay, so that looks really good. So we added a Google search, we've got a featured slider, and we've got a Colophon widget. Now let's see if I can't fix this gap here, and we'll be done. Let's go back to the editor. I'm really pressed for time, so bear with me if I don't get this done for you guys. If you have any questions, you can contact me at mindvisionmedia.net and on my contact page. I hope you learned something, and keep your questions coming. Alright, so let's see here. What if we put CTA button? I wonder if I just go here, tab in, and just put a div and a empty paragraph there, if that would help. Let me refresh that, see if that helps. I'm just looking for a really quick solution. Oh, okay, so it did. That's an easy way to put a gap in between there. Alright, so again, I just entered a line just beneath the featured content and right before the CTA button in the PHP file, in your home.php file. And I put a div with an empty paragraph inside of there. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. But I put just an empty paragraph tag there, which basically put a space in between the call to action button and the image slider. Alright, so a quick way to easily fine-tune your responsive theme homepage. We added a Colophon widget again, which is area 10 down below the default widgets above the footer. And we added a featured slider to the homepage, modifying the 2-column content they had there by default. And we also added a custom Google search, changed the background color, and set this up. Now keep in mind, for this upper area, it's just like it was down here. There's 2 columns here that are being shared by the top widget, top sidebar widget in your default theme, and also your header image or header logo area. They recommend this logo or image be 300 pixels wide. Okay, so this default logo here is 300 pixels wide. Now on my website I have a full width 940 pixel animated banner in this area here, and I don't have the Google search here. I actually have it down here. So, but this is a way to implement this method, and I hope you learned something. Again, if you have any questions, just give me a buzz at mindvisionmedia.net. Thanks for tuning into my YouTube channel, and definitely leave me some likes. Okay? Thanks. Bye.